This is a call out for Dyer to debate me in a formal debate on who the church is. I've had a lot of attention from Eastern Orthodox adherents, a lot of attention on my channel recently due to my outreach at one of the institutions in Gainesville, Georgia, St. James. And I went out there, stood with a sign with a dead baby on it. Like people have been doing for decades to fight abortion. Just a normal tool in the tool belt of an anti-abortion person is a graphic image that pricks the conscience and shows the brutality of what's hidden behind closed doors and gets it out in the light and exposes the darkness like Ephesians 5:11 tells us to do. I was using that image to get people involved in the fight against abortion. People responded quite terribly and said it was abusive to children to show that image, but those images have been shown quite regularly around the nation in public where children are to save lives. And so I was just doing normal abolitionist outreach out there, and I got a lot of backlash from Eastern Orthodox people who don't understand just the basics of how to fight abortion, and they only further demonstrated why I needed to be outside of their institution. And I'm using this opportunity to get people's attention to gain support for the idea that Dyer should debate me, and I should debate him. I have challenged him on different posts of his to a debate, and I don't know if he's ever seen them, but he doesn't take me up on them. I've interacted with him in the past on one of his live streams and called in, and we had an interaction, but he ended up cutting that short, and it ended abruptly, and he left the conversation. So we could have had a lot more, hash things out a lot more, but he decided to cut short the conversation. So I have a lot of Orthodox people commenting on my videos. It's been happening quite regularly over the past few days because they think it's crazy that someone would show a picture of a dead baby to people who need to be awakened to the fact that it's an emergency situation, an emergency situation in which thousands of people are being murdered on a daily basis. So when most people are at peace with that and acting like it's no big deal and like it's not a Holocaust situation, it's quite effective to show the brutality, to awaken people to just how serious this is, so that they will be motivated to get involved in fighting it so that more lives will be saved. It's quite justifiable to show an image of a dead baby in a place where children will see it when children's lives are saved by that action, kind of like how taking out a school shooter with a weapon and shooting that school shooter will be disturbing to children who see it, but it will save children's lives, therefore it's justifiable. And we see that Jesus himself became a bloody mess, a bloody image, when he walked through the streets of Jerusalem to die on a cross after being flogged. He chose that method of his death. He ordained that, and he knew that little children were likely to see him on his way walking to Golgotha. He still chose that method of his death and torment, and he knew that little children would likely see that. I mean, he knows everything, so he knows if any children were going to see that, he would know that that was going to happen. And he chose a public area where that's likely to happen. And we all understand that's going to happen. If you're walking through a street in Jerusalem publicly, little kids are going to see you. You're a bloody mess. And we have the Old Testament telling the entire congregation of Israel to stone people. That means everybody had to be involved in stoning people. Clearly, God doesn't care about little kids seeing graphic imagery if there's a serious need for it. So I wanted to put this out there so that all the Eastern Orthodox people on my channel will see this and ask Jay to debate me. Because I'm seeing like consistently like really stupid arguments from Eastern Orthodox people who don't understand the basics of epistemology. It's just like it is confirmed again and again and again in my interactions with these people that they have not thought very deeply about their worldview, or they just don't have the mental capacity to do so at a high level. We're dealing with mid to low IQ people many times. Of course, there are some high IQ people who are Eastern Orthodox, but they're still not thinking correctly. And I can prove that. I can point it out. I can demonstrate that with my arguments. And it's been going badly for the Eastern Orthodox in the comment section. I haven't followed up with every single stream of comments, but like those comments have really been informative concerning Eastern Orthodoxy. You have people like just assuming without proper justification that their church is the church, and then arguing from there without even trying to establish like an epistemology that would make their worldview the worldview that you have to adopt in order to have and justify the preconditions of intelligibility. And you have people like acting like it's crazy for me to show up anywhere, like, and to exhort people to take action against the Holocaust. They think it's crazy that I would go there. They say we're pro-life. Well, actually, it's appropriate to go anywhere at any time to tell anybody to take action against like nationwide mass murder that kills thousands per day on average. But the fact that they think being pro-life is good is only a further demonstration of why I needed to be there, because the pro-life movement is ridiculously pathetic. It's full of people who don't want to establish the death penalty for murderers, and people who don't go out and publicly proclaim that we should have the death penalty for murderers who murder through abortion, people who don't go out in the streets and expose this evil regularly, people who don't go to the killing facilities to preach the gospel and reach out to parents, people who don't go to high schools and minister and show these images and educate students, people who don't go to colleges and show the same images and educate people about what's going on, destroying the lies and misinformation. That's not happening like in the vast majority of people's lives in America. They just not doing it. They are not doing what the children obviously need to be done. They're not doing what needs to be done, what the children need in order to save the children. There are objectively better methods to use for changing culture and abolishing abortion, and people are not using those methods. So of course I'm going to go to places where people think that abortion is wrong to exhort them to take those actions and to not simply have faith alone concerning abortion being murder, but to actually put that faith into practice. Ironically, I was getting the vibe at this place at St. James that people thought that all that God wanted them to do in a Holocaust is just believe it's wrong. Faith without works is dead, says your saint that you named your institution after, St. James. Faith without works is dead. God doesn't want you to simply believe that it's wrong to murder children. He wants you to save the children. So of course I'm going to come to your institution and tell you to save the children. I've been fighting abortion for around 11 years now, and never once have I ever come across an Orthodox person fighting abortion. Why not? If you're the true church, where is the true church in the fight against abortion? I don't see thousands of Orthodox people out in the streets acting like abortion is murder with protests that actually treat this like an emergency situation that needs to be fought on a nationwide level, like regularly in the public. I don't see that. Where's the true church? You're not the true church. bunch of fakes. And yeah, so Jay Dyer, where are you? Debate me. You know, like everybody wants people to debate Jay Dyer or Alex Soren. A lot of these ortho bros, they're not good at defending their own worldview, and they'll definitely try to do it in comment sections, but they really seem to rely on these certain guys to like be their champions and establish their worldview as coherent. But clearly, these debaters that they look up to need to be engaged. And I see Jay Dyer consistently proposing debates to people, so here I am. You want a Protestant to debate? Here I am. Debate me. Who's the real church? Let's have a formal online debate where you can't suddenly run away. Let's do that. So yeah.